I'm James Hadley, and this is my persuasive speech. I'm doing it pro-death penalty. I'm going to start off with a quote from the Bible. If anyone takes the life of a human, his life must be taken from him. If anyone injures his neighbor, whatever he has done, be done to him. Fracture for fracture, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. I am the Lord, your God. That is Leviticus 24, verses 19 through 22. The Bible is that book is what morality was fostered on. It's what our judicial system was built around. The Bible is a book every good Christian owns, and every good Christian knows that an eye for an eye is an eye for an eye. If you kill, you should be killed. Capital punishment was not created by man to be vengeful. For the people who harm, it is to be harmed. This was written by man through God. God told us that if you kill, you shall be killed. If you hurt somebody, you shall be hurt. It's not vengeance. It's not somebody else wanting justice. It's just what it is. It is what it is. If you kill, you shall be killed. The death penalty is a service to mankind for the reason of what's the point if someone can go kill somebody and have nothing to do but they get 3 meals a day and a bed to sleep in with insurance? That's better than most people have today anyway. Murder is not something you should not have to fear. If you murder, you should have to fear that you're going to die as well. If you are found guilty, you must pay. I'm going to show you a PowerPoint slide of some forms where people were on parole for murder, got the death penalty, and then got off. They got paroled. Alright, this is about Melvin and Linda Lorenz. They were driving on the interstate, and a man named Roger Stafford, used his wife as bait for them to come in, and they pulled over, and him and his brother murdered him. 6 months, the trio killed 6 employees at a house in Oklahoma City. This is a picture of Roger Stafford. In 1985, Karen Patterson was shot and killed by her neighbor, Joe Atkins, who cut the telephone line, showed up with a machete, a sawed-off shotgun, and a pistol. Joe murdered his adopted father, Benjamin Atkins, at 75 years of age, who persuaded parole authorities to release him from his life sentence. This is Robert Massey. He murdered a mother of 2 and got sentenced to death. He got he got excommunicated, or not excommunicated, but the Supreme Court released him. And then 8 months after his release, robbed and murdered a businessman, Boris Noroff, in San Francisco. And then that's Robert Massey. I show you this for the simple fact that second chances shouldn't be given to people who don't give you a second chance. You know, how are you going to have a murderer who's having someone probably beg for their life and just murder him anyway? How can you give him a second chance? Obviously, giving him second chances isn't paying off. In the state of Indiana, there were 100 people so far put on death row. Only 21 out of that 100 have been sentenced, have carried out their sentence. I think I've already said this, but they get 3 meals a day. It costs $93.70 a day to house an inmate. If you take 50 years It's $3 million per person over a 50-year span. Think about how much that's costing us to house them and to carry them out for a life sentence when they probably deserve the death penalty for what they've done. I'm going to quote the Bible one more time in Deuteronomy 19, verses 19 through 21. You must purge evil from among you. The rest of the people will hear about this and be afraid. And never again will such an evil thing be done among you. Show no pity, life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. Can you imagine someone killing your brother, your sister, your mother, your daughter? Imagine this, finding out that they killed them and they get a life sentence, and your taxes pays for them to eat, to get health care, to maybe sleep better than you, to live better than you? Just think about that. This is a quote from John McAdams. If we execute murderers and there is no different effect, we have killed just a bunch of murderers. If we fail to execute murderers, and doing so would in fact have determined other murders, we have allowed the killing of a bunch of innocent people. I would much rather risk the former. This way is not a tough call. This quote I'm getting ready to read is not pro-death penalty. It is actually the opposite of pro-death penalty. The reason I'm going to quote this is because I have a response, and I want you to think about it in my closing statements. The death penalty is the ultimate denial of human rights. It is the premeditated and cold-blooded killing of a human being by the state in the name of justice. This violates the life and the ultimate cruel of a human and degrading punishment. There never can be justification in torture for cruel treatment. And I want you to remember that last line. That was by the Amnesty International. Now, do you think murderers are going to give pity to their victims? Do you think they stop and realize that they're violating the rights of their life? Do you think that they're going to think it's humane when that person is probably begging for their life to stay alive? There never can be justification for torture and cruel treatment. But there can be rest. Rest for the victim's family, who gets to see that person pay for what they've done to their family. In my closing statements, I just want to let you know, or I want to ask you a question. If it was your daughter, your brother, or anyone in your family and friends, what would you want done?